Simply put, Bill McKibben is the co-founder of 350.org. And he literally wrote the book on climate justice, on climate change, you know, the very first book on climate change in 1989. Thank you for coming down.
Well, thank you very much. What fun to see you all here. No. It is so good to see all kinds of old friends like Malik and Tara, and so good to see new friends, and so good to see you all. This is really the Midwest rising up, man. It is good to see. Powerful. Now, my confession is, I'm a little worn out because I started yesterday morning. I was in Denver for the Break Free there, and by noontime I was in Los Angeles for the Break Free there. If there's too much carbon in the atmosphere, a fair amount of it's coming from me this weekend as I make my way around the country. But the main message that I want to bring you all here is simply that you've got brothers and sisters all over the place, all over the place. This has been an amazing sort of 10 days around the world as these break-free actions are kind of rolled out from, I mean, it's been amazing to watch. There were thousands of people last 3 or 4 days ago in kayaks and canoes blockading the biggest coal port in the world in Australia. And there were thousands of people outside the biggest banks in New Zealand because they're the ones giving the money for this fossil fuel development. And in South Africa, where they're demanding 100% renewable energy, and in Nigeria, at the kind of where they were rallying at the first oil wells in Nigeria because oil's brought Nigeria nothing but trouble for 4 or 5 decades now. People remembering leaders like Ken Saro-Wiwa who fought so hard and so long. And 3 days ago, beginning 3 days ago, thousands of people occupying the biggest coal mine in Germany and shutting it down for a few days. And in the Philippines, 10,000 people marching to stop coal. And yesterday up in the Pacific Northwest, people on the rail lines in and out of the big refineries at Anacortes, and in Albany, New York, yesterday, people stopping the oil trains along the Hudson River, and all over the place this is going on. Now, there's a reason for that, and the reason is that our backs are now kind of to the wall. This is the hottest year that we've ever recorded on this planet. We just got this morning, the data for April globally. April crushed the records for every other April that we've ever measured on this planet. Way hotter, and the effects are showing up all over the place. I was in the Pacific 2 weeks ago with our crews, all your brothers and sisters on those islands that are going to be disappearing as this century goes on, that are already starting to disappear. And the thing that was breaking their hearts at the moment was that in the course of 10 days, as a big pulse of hot water swept across the Pacific, it looks like we've lost huge swaths of the coral reefs that surround all those islands. One of the most beautiful corners of God's brain, you know, and just wiped out in a matter of days because it's too hot for these ecosystems that have been there for thousands upon thousands of years. The new data from up in the Arctic, even as of this morning, shows that we're at absolute record minimum ice for the Arctic. It's melting so fast because much of the Arctic for much of the winter was 15, 18 degrees above normal temperatures that we've never seen anything like. This coming week in the Arctic, it's going to be in many places 10 degrees centigrade above normal. We're seeing the kind of temperatures you see in June and July and August we're seeing in May. It is, well, it's horrible, and the effects on people every day. I was talking just with our friends in, say, Vietnam in the last few days, where a record heat wave like nothing they've ever seen has been decimating rice production. 135 kids died in Thailand last month, drowned, just sort of jumping into anything they could find to try and cool off from absolutely record temperatures. So it's very, very real now. There's nothing future, nothing theoretical, nothing abstract about what we're doing to the climate. It is now our reality, and our job, our biggest job on this earth, if we care about justice, if we care about the future, if we care about almost anything, our biggest job is to try and keep it from getting any more out of control. And that is why we're here. And here's the really good news, you know. And for me, it's sort of new news. I mean, I'm not an activist by profession, not like so many of the great people you've been hearing from. You know, I'm a writer. And so when we started all this, I knew very little about it. And I confess, it wasn't clear to me that we'd ever be able to stand up to the power and the money of the fossil fuel industry, the richest industry on earth. When we started the fight almost 5 years ago now that so many of you worked so hard on about the Keystone Pipeline, I didn't think there was any way that we'd actually win. But you know, it turns out that when we fight, we pretty often do win. And so, you know, winning the fight about Keystone was pretty amazing. And to watch our brothers and sisters up in Canada, led by First Nations people, shut down the Northern Gateway pipeline, or the Kinder Morgan pipelines, all the work on the Enbridge invasion, the octopus of Enbridge pipelines across the Midwest. You know, last week, people managed to stop plans for the biggest coal port in the world off the coast of Washington State at Cherry Point on Lamai Nation land, you know. People have beat fracking now in New York State and in France and in Wales and in Scotland. When we fight, we win, so we should probably fight more often, you know. Which is why it's so good to get to be here with you just for a little while today and say thanks, and to say thanks to the people who will be risking arrest and things today, and the people who, you know, just, this is all, just know as you're doing it. I mean, I wish that I could guarantee you that, you know, we're all going to win in the end, the whole thing, and I can't, because we don't know. The physics of climate change is pretty daunting at this point. The momentum of it's pretty big. We're not going to win everything. We're not going to stop global warming. It's too late for that. But the work you're doing literally couldn't be more important. Couldn't be more important. There's not many people who get to say in their lives, I'm doing the most important thing right now I could be doing, but that's what you guys are doing today. I can't guarantee you're going to win, but I can guarantee you in every corner of the world that we're going to fight. And that's got to be enough for now, just knowing that we are taking it on. Thank you all so much, so much.